DIY.
All right, DIYers. So this is a really, really unfortunate story, and I'm going to try my best to reserve judgment without hearing from the other side on this one. But obviously, we've been making a lot of content since Timbaland and his team made the announcement that they're going to go sign an AI avatar named Tata. Now, he did a 4-hour stream, which he heard opposing points of views, one of those being from Guru, and Guru brought up some great points. He seemed to be pretty responsive to it, but there was something that he said that really, really bothered me, and you guys saw it in the video because I felt like it was a bit obtuse on purpose. It felt like it was purposely obtuse, and it felt like it was misleading in terms of some of the things that may be going on, in terms of how he's concluding and getting to this AI artist, in terms of his relationship with Suno. We'll talk about all that in just a second because something really, really head-scratching happened that we got to bring some light to. Now, let me refresh your memory on a few things before we get to that very thing. This is a part of that 4-hour clip. You've probably seen it before, where this is where Guru asked the question to Timbaland. Most of the people who are critical of you and your usage of AI are asking one question, and here's that question.
Right, that's the biggest question that I seen, where what the perception was like, yo, Tim is giving a lot of opportunity to young boys, even my young boys from Delaware. Some of them that I mentor, they came on the show, and that was the number one question that I seen. They was like, yo, are you training AI off of our music?
So if you don't know, Timbaland for some years has done a music critique series. It's not uncommon. I've done one for, on this channel, of course, for a long time, and some other channels do as well. However, the thing that makes this one unique is that he goes from accepting all these submissions. I don't know if they're paid submissions. He's listening to it. He's giving his honest feedback. A lot of it seems to be, people saying that it's disrespectful or whatever the case may be. Some people are saying it's helpful, whatever. He's been getting these submissions for years now, and then all of a sudden you start hearing about, or he's more transparent about his relationship with Suno, who is a text to audio AI music generating website, who's been under fire for some reasons that we're going to get to as well. Here's his response to whether the music that they have been submitting has been part of the machine training for the AI that he is generating music off of.
So
Okay.
can you address that one first?
Okay. First of all, I can't train. I don't own the company to do the training data. Now, what I do, I am a partner of Suno. Some people don't like Suno, and so
he said that he is not the one doing any training, which he then in a couple seconds contradicts, I think, in a weird way. He says that he's not in charge of doing the training, right? It's the company owners who are in charge of that. That's already problematic, but I'll get to that in a second.
some people do. I use Suno for a tool. So as I was with them building on this tool, there are a lot of, as you build, I uploaded all my beats. How I use it as a producer tool, like a sound.
So he just said that he uses it to upload his own beats. So he does have the ability to train it.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Am I misreading that? He either doesn't have the ability to train it, or he does have the ability to train it with his own beats. So if you could train it by your own beats, the logic is, well, then whatever you have access to, or maybe that's been submitted to you, allegedly, can also go in the same process as what's getting trained off of your beats. That's pretty common sense.
Right? Mm-hmm. So it gives you personas. And what I did, I started learning more and more how to become a prompt operator.
Mm-hmm.
So I never trained off of, you can't train it. It has to learn you. You know what I'm saying? You got to learn how to prompt to get the best product out of this tool. So right. It's not about training it. It's about you learning how to work with it.
Okay. And this it that he's talking about in terms of improving your prompts is with the website that he's been partnered with for some time called Suno. I know you're probably getting tired of this article, but let me bring up something else to your attention. We always go to the headline, right? And that Suno is actually, or has been in court since August of last year for, let's just go ahead and break this down. In June, controversial AI music startup Suno and Udio were sued by major label companies for allegedly training their systems using major recordings without permission. This company that has rose to its popularity in front of the public's eyes was using music without permission that has already been copyrighted. And they're defending their use of it, although they're getting sued for it. It goes on to say, now, in responses filed in U.S. federal courts on Thursday, August 1st, 2024, the two AI companies have pretty much admitted that they use copyrighted recordings from the record companies that sued them. Here's the justification they have, and I'm telling you, you're going to want to wait to the end of this video because what I'm getting ready to show you is a shocker. Suno, for example, explained that its data training includes essentially all music files of reasonable quality that are accessible on the open internet. Suno just said, because remember when he said in that last statement, he said, I don't own the company, but you never absolved the company from that. Because the company itself says that its training data includes essentially all music files of reasonable quality that are accessible on the internet, including your music, including those live streams that he gets music submissions from. It goes on to say, abiding by paywalls, password protections, and the like, combined with similarly available text descriptions. The RIAA, the organization that represents recorded music industry in the U.S., was swift in its counter response, describing the company's admission regarding using copyrighted music to train their AI as a major concession in the high-stakes legal proceedings. They said after months of evading and misleading, defendants have finally admitted their massive unlicensed copying of artists' recordings, including those of you who choose to put your music on social medias like Instagram, allegedly. Shout out to this producer here. I've seen him on my timeline many a times. Never actually followed him, but I've always seen him on my Explore page. He goes by KFresh. Now, what you're seeing here is him reposting a beat that he had for some time already, right? He has an extensive catalog. He posts his music all the time. I want you to listen to not only this beat, but I want you to listen for his producer tag. You'll hear it in a second. Listen to this for a second. You heard that? Pay attention to that. This beat is hard. Shout out to KFresh. Okay, so you get the gist of it. Look at this video. Tell me what you hear. Now, this video was posted some months ago, so it's already been in circulation. Nobody just did this after all of the announcements came out about Tata. Listen to this beat for me, and you let me know what you hear. Not only are those elements of the sound of the beat that you just heard, in my opinion, but you also hear the man's tag. Oh. What are we doing here? This is a beat that says in the title, Timbaland makes a beat with Suno AI. The same Suno that I showed you here that says, I quote, trains their data, including essentially all music files of reasonable quality that are accessible on the open internet. Now, there's other elements that are being added to it, but the issue is not whether or not new elements are being added to it. The issues are, that's that man's fucking beat with his beat tag. much more egregious can it be? It's not like, okay, maybe these are common keys. His beat tag is literally... I'll keep my voice down. One more time. Listen for the chopped vocals in this. That's his version of mustard on a beat, oh, right? That's his beat tag. Here's what you got with this beat. I just got questions. At this point, I got questions. As you listen to the rest of the video, you'll see there's choirs and all of this stuff added. That's neither here nor there. But he sits here and he literally says, "Man, look at baby Timbo go."
Baby Timbo do his work. Let him do his work.
Yeah, that's not baby Timbo, unfortunately. Well, not all of it. That's KFresh music. And it's not like this is something that I came across and I was the only one who saw it. There are people asking him questions here. Matter of fact, he posted it on his own page today. And I wanted to make sure I was one of the platforms that highlighted this because we need answers. Matter of fact, forget me needing answers. There's producers who have put their trust in you, who even said, you know what, I'm a little bit unsure about this AI, but I trust you and where you're taking it. I trust that you're not backdooring us in this situation. Now you got a comment full of people. The gentleman KFresh says, people keep sending me this. I still don't even know what to think about it. I have some thoughts. I definitely have some thoughts. And I keep coming back to this. Suno, for example, explained that its training data includes essentially all music files of reasonable quality that are accessible on the open internet. This was the main concern that folks had when they saw this announcement. You're not going to use my music, right? There's no chance that my music went into the learning of that. You know, I was always taught that if you take from one source, that's plagiarism. If you take from multiple sources, that's research. I think that definition gets a little bit murky as we talk about the developments and how they're training these particular things in AI. I look at that and I'm like, I don't know how you could, like, as when I think about the video that Timbaland released to agitate those out there.
Y'all crying about AI taking your spot, but your songs barely mix. Why would we train it on that?
Possibly because it's music that you yourself are not able to make because you're from a different generation with a different swing, a different taste for sound selection, a different type of bop, a different type of bounce. Maybe they have instruments that you don't have. Maybe they have access to maybe they sound as, who knows?
Y'all crying about AI taking your spot, but your songs barely mix. Why would we train it on that?
Well, that's under the assumption that everybody's music is not mixed, huh? When he answers, there's a lot of people out here who believes you when you say, well, I didn't do it. But wasn't one of the first people out here that said that doesn't absolve Suno? That doesn't stop Suno from taking from the open internet after they just literally admit it. They just say this in statements that go to websites like Music Business Worldwide because they assume artists don't ever read those. What the fuck? I'm gonna just tell you like this. Shout out to Guru because he gave me a lot of information over the last weekend, and I've been absorbing one particular video, and it gives you a great understanding of what's going on in terms of what they're predicting is going to happen with AI. There is no kill switch for this. There is no kill switch for this. It is too late for a kill switch. This thing is developing at a ridiculous rate. It is so intelligent. It hasn't even got to its super intelligent stage. It is so intelligent, right? That ChatGPT, for example, ChatGPT 4.0 just surpassed what they said is one of the most brilliant human beings, Albert Einstein. It just surpassed his IQ. I think it's an IQ of 155. It just surpassed that. And it's on pace to double that the next time around, and then double that, and then double that, and double that. There is no kill switch. There is no stopping it. It is around us. It is going to happen. It is going to change so much of our lives. 40 or 50% of jobs are definitely going to be at risk, or they're going to go under massive shifts because of it. There's no doubt about that. But there's always a human being that has the opportunity to set some ground rules, some ethical rules that say, you know what, I'm not going to do anything that is not ethical. I'm not going to do anything that I would not do in a human form. These are decisions that you can make every single day with your interactions with it. But when you see stuff like this, I just look back and I say, dog, that's a choice. And for you to not do your due diligence, for you to not ask the questions. Hey, is this taken directly from other? This is sloppy. This is not even like you kind of have to reach for it. You hear the man's producer tag that identifies his beats in the beat that he just generated on Suno. That's why we were making all these videos. For that very reason right there. That's why nobody want to come sit down with you, because the way that most of us feel is you've already sold us out. DIYers, if you enjoyed this content, make sure that you hit the like button and maybe even consider subscribing. Come on, man. Don't be a greedy. Peace.